Hi everyone. So yeah, today we're going to have an insight on the push notification console. So keeping the slide really concise today, we're going to look into a recap of what local notifications are, what are remote notifications, and then deep dive into the console and some of the metrics interpretation. So a quick recap on local notification. As the name suggests, you do not need network connection to have a local notification. So your app itself creates the content and the trigger. It can be based on some timestamp or any of the location. So the setting up is very simple. You can import your user notification framework. Next, you need to ask the user for a notification permission. So again, we know these days there are two ways to ask for permission, the authorization. It can be explicit when because of any interaction on the app, you can ask user that, hey, we want to send you notification. So either user accept or reject. The only risk here is that you can only show this notification once in your entire journey in the session of the application, like till the user uninstalls and install again. So explicit requirement, permission. So this is how the pop-up is going to look like. And on the other hand, with iOS 12, we also got introduced to provisional authorization. So wherein you are granted the permission by default, and you can send some trial notification. So you might have seen in many applications, you get a notification that you want to keep it or you want to snooze or something like that. So yeah, essentially local notification, you just ask the permission, and then you can configure the content of it. You can key in the title, the body, and any other content that you want to show. Then you have to define the trigger. For example, here it's 5 seconds. And then using this content and the trigger, you can create a request and send it to your push notification center object. And then very simple, right? Nothing new over here. So this is how we can configure the local notification. Next, we're going to look into recap of the remote notification. On the other hand, like here we get the content from your remote server, which is known as the provider server, and this information is passed over the internet. So let's go through the basic workflow of how the remote notification is configured. Same, we show a pop-up to the customer whether they agree to pass the information or the provisional authorization when you get it. So in this process, we just register the app with the Apple push notification server, which is known as APNS. Now, when it is successfully registered, APNS sends back a unique device token for the application to the app. Now, your app talks to the provider server, and it saves the device token on the provider server. Now, because we know the provider server is the place from where we can create the content and the trigger, whenever the content is ready, provider server talks to the APNS, passes the device token, and along with the device token, it sends to APNS, and APNS triggers the notification on the device application. So very simple. Now, a quick quiz on the same learnings about local or notification. So I want you guys to think about it, whether this notification is a local notification or remote. So the case here is that all of us heavily rely on the notification, like it's about time to join your call. For example, if the meeting is at 1:10 p.m., at 1 o'clock you get a trigger that, hey, are you ready to join the call? So just a reminder. So how many of you think that it's a local notification? All right, great. And how many of you think it's remote notification? Perfect. All right, so okay, the answer is that it's a local notification. Now, reason why? Because this is your app-generated notification. Like you and your colleague can have different reminder set up for that. There is no remote sending this trigger. There is no internet required. Even when you're in a flight and suppose you have something set up, you get the notification. So it's a local one. So on the app settings, you can set up, I want to get it 5 minutes before or 10 minutes before. So it's an example of local notification. All right, next, let's dive into the what's new in notifications. In iOS 17, Apple introduced the new push notification console. So it's a brand new web interface where you can test your push notification to validate your integration with the APNS with confidence. So what are required for this tool is you need to have an Apple ID, with which you can log in into your cloud.developer.apple.com, and you'll see various options. So one of it is the push notification. And next, you need an Apple app, which has the push notification configured. And last, you need a test device token so that you can send the test notifications and check on that. So using the send tab in the console, you can configure your test notifications. So there are some of the things that you can configure, for example, a name. So this name is only for you to identify the test notifications that you generate. In the console itself, you'll see how many test notifications you have sent. So you can identify using this name. Next is the device token. As mentioned, like this is the targeted device to which you're going to send the test notification. And the APNS expiry time, we are going to further look how this expiry time is so essential in the metrics when you look at the metrics interpretation slide later. And also the payload. So as we know, it's very similar to our other configurations of remote and all. Like it's a JSON structure. You can put in your data. It has to be less than 4 KB, and all of that things apply. So once you have configured your test notification and send it, you can also check the delivery logs of it. All you have to do is on the console, you can tap on the notification, the test notification, and this pop-up is going to show up, which is going to give you, this page is going to load, which tells you about when the notification was generated, what was the device token that you used, what is the priority, and everything like that. So in addition to your configuration, you'll be able to see what is the delivery status, like what's the log for that, like when was the request received by the APNS, and what happened after that, whether it was successfully received or whether there were other statuses. Again, discuss more in the later slides. But yeah, of course, not all push notifications are delivered to the customer. There are different scenarios based on whether the permission is there or device is in power saver mode or not. So we'll discuss more later. So yeah, going back, another functionality, just like we check that as soon as you send a test notification, you can also check a unique APNS, any unique notification that was sent using the APNS unique ID. So the drop-downs are the one which you have already sent using your console itself. But if you're using any other way to trigger the notification, in the header you always get a reply back of APNS unique ID. So you can just paste it here, and it would give you the similar logs about what was the payloads and what's the status of the log. So this is the second tab inside the console itself. Next important feature that was added in the console is the metrics tab. So it gives you the states of number of notifications that was sent. You can filter it based on weekly, bi-weekly, or like monthly basis, whatever metrics you want to look into. And it further divides the notifications into types of notifications. So most of us have been using like alerts in background, and also live activities widely these days. But yeah, there are other options based on which you can filter it out. So now when you tap on any one of the metrics, you'll be able to see further division of, if suppose 438K notifications were sent, how many were successfully received, how many were discarded because of what reasons. So finally, let's understand about what could be the reason of the flow, like different statuses. So this is the flow that tells you about from where APNS triggers the notification till the time it reaches, what are the stages and checks that happens. So first we check if the APNS token is registered. So there could be many instances when your notification token is expired, because as soon as the user uninstall the app and install again, the device token changes. Or suppose the application is just uninstalled. So in that case as well, the token is not registered with you, and the notification gets discarded. Next, if we validate the token is correct, it is registered, we next check for push notification settings. We see if the user had granted the permission. We have to check this again because users can anytime go to your app settings in the settings sections and then just disable receiving notifications. So next filterings happen here. If it is disabled, it gets discarded. So next is about the power reservation mode. So a lot of us, just to save our battery, we just put our phone on the power saver. So whenever it's on power saver, notification is not sent out. But it is, if it is on full battery mode, then it gets delivered. That's success. Now what happens when your phone is on power saver and a notification is sent? APNS checks if the push notification is still, the expiry time is still valid. If it is valid, then we check, then we go to the APNS storage and we persist the information for till it gets expired or 30 days, whichever comes first in that order. And if it is expired, it just gets discarded. So next is, whenever your device is online again, your APNS persistent storage just checks for the reservation mode, is it removed? And if it is online, then your notification is delivered. If not, it is discarded again. So there are a few things that we need to keep in mind, that APNS storage can only persist one notification per application per device. So if you send multiple notifications to a same bundle ID and the delivery is not, APNS is not able to deliver it, then in that case, it might override your application to the latest one that was sent. But the ordering, again, we cannot be sure about it, but usually it's the latest one that is held at the APNS. So some of the other tools provided, utility tools provided in the console is the JWT generator. All you need to do is upload your private key and your key ID, and then it would create a token and show you what's the decoding of that. Similarly, there is another tab that tells you about the JWT validator. You can put on your token there and check if it is valid. And the last one is the device token validator. So because we know the device can anytime be removed for XYZ reasons, like we saw in case of uninstall and all. So I think that was pretty brief about it, and I hope that you guys are able to log into your Apple account today, log into the iCloud developer apple.com, check at the metrics, look how many notifications are triggered versus how many get expired. Maybe you want to look at the expiry time and also compare like how many tokens are actually not even there, and you might want to clean up the resources of your push notification services. So yeah, I think that's pretty much from my side. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out on Discord.